Okay, and we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope everyone has had a very good Tuesday. So let's get into the Manchester United stuff. There is plenty to go and talk about. I said last night, guys, let's hope we had some news, and we have a new signing coming in, and that, of course, and I'm really gonna butcher the guy's name, so I do apologize for any Fenerbahce fans, any Turkey fans, but that is Altay as well. So goalkeeper coming in. I mean, it's not the most exciting signing. It's probably not what we really need. I mean, I guess we want to buy a goalkeeper. This kind of just hits me like Dubravka last year. Like, I can't even remember the guy. Who do we bring in as well? Jack Butland in January. It's kind of just one of those signings that it's just kind of there. I mean, I'm not too enthused about it. I don't think it makes a difference, really. I don't think it's going to mean Manchester United win matches or not. But I mean, if he comes in, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'll serve a purpose if Onana is injured or if we need him. So, look, goalkeeping signing coming in, confirmed from Ornstein, coming in from Fabrizio Romano. He has had a medical today as well, so that's Altay Bayındır has passed his Manchester United medical checks in Athens. He will arrive at Istanbul airport at 5:35 British time as well. So we did see the photos. That is confirmed, and he is coming in. In the comments, we got Robert saying this is a pointless signing. Nonsense club of the year. I mean, yeah, look, I completely get the argument. I mean, I think we're perfectly fine with Tom Heaton, but I mean, it is what it is. Chase is down there as well. I made your heart jump. Sorry, man. Oh, man. I would love it if we were signing Toney. But look, that is a story we want to talk about as well tonight. And that's the subject of tonight's poll, because the links are growing and Manchester United do seem to have an interest. Erik ten Hag does seem to like Ivan Toney ahead of the January transfer window. So look, he's going to be banned. He's banned for gambling offences and relating to football, so he will not be playing a match until January. Does that mean we can get him on the cheap with him having 12 months left in his contract from June next year? I don't know. Maybe it does. He would be a really good signing. I really do believe that. And perhaps if new ownership came in, that could be the kind of smart signing we need to help us go on and have a really strong end of the season. Who else is in the comments? I'm So Fresh says, what's up? I think Toney is a good signing for any team. Would be ashamed to have him on the bench all the time when Rasmus gets fit, though. Good competition for the position. Yeah, look, competition is good. And if Højlund's not scoring, we got Toney. And if Toney's not scoring, we got Højlund. And I think that takes us away from Anthony Martial. It takes us away from playing Rashford as striker. And that's just something that's just not gonna work. We know this already, guys. We know it's Rashford striker. It does not work. Yusuf is in there as well. The good news is we have a signing. The bad news is it's a backup goalkeeper. That's really about the absolute concrete news we have. But look, we got stuff we want to go through, stuff we want to get talking about. Rajat wants to see Gift Orban. Yep, absolutely, that'd be fantastic signing. Gift Orban for the price. Unbelievable. And we'd have two of the very best young strikers in all of European football at Manchester United, and that would be a good position to find ourselves in. I really like Orban. I like Watkins. Yeah, Taremi, I think that's a smart signing. But that's what we're asking you guys on the poll. Would you guys rather go for a cheap striker right now who can come in and add some depth and maybe score some goals? Or do you go for the better striker, but you wait to January to get him? Let me know your thoughts on that one. It's an interesting one because we need goals, but do we need players who might come in and have a Weghorst-like impact or anything like that? That's my question to you guys. Do you guys go for the guaranteed goals and quality of Toney? Or do we go and hit the panic buttons and go for someone early doors? Let me know your thoughts down below. It's an interesting one, I think. Greg is down there. Toney would be perfect choice for United. I'd be more than happy with Toney. He'll definitely get us goals. I think so. Really experienced player. Peak of his career. I think he's 27, 28 maybe. Scoring 20 goals the last two seasons for Brentford, and that's a Brentford team who would not make the same opportunities as Manchester United would. And look, for his poorest United start has been 32 chances created and 1 goal. It's abysmal finishing, and it's the same problems coming back to haunt us as well. As much as it's the midfield, it's also the scoring of the goals. Finishing hasn't been good enough. They also got down here in the comments, Daz says sell Antony and buy 4. It's an interesting one, man. Lucky is down there as well. Midfield has to be soft in Amrabat, and we'll wait till the last week. Daniel says Toney might not be good with all the time out from football. It's not like a Mason Greenwood situation where it's been over a year. It would be 6 months out, I guess. So it would be like a player coming back from, I don't know, maybe like a knee injury, like an ACL or something. That kind of type of timeline. So yeah, it could take him a while to get up and running. I'm not too sure about how the actual working of his suspension is going about. I don't know if he's able to train with Brentford and just not play the matches, or if he's banned from all footballing activities. I'm not 100% sure, but if anybody can let me know on that one down below, would be massively appreciated. Drop a like on the video as well, guys. Let me know what you guys prefer, the cheap striker now or Ivan Toney in January. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Christian says, I would prefer the striker now because Højlund will give us what we need. Like I said, one bad result, 2 or 3 signings in. Eric knows how to get money out of the club. Rajat says, get experienced striker to take the load off Højlund. We badly rely on moments, not enough style of play. Yeah, I think that's an issue. Yeah, that's a good point as well, raised by Michael. For anyone who has missed this, it's only broken the last 60 minutes or so. Mason Mount will be out for the next 2 weeks. Picked up an injury against Tottenham, so I don't know what that's going to mean for Manchester United in the next match. Does that mean McTominay comes in and we keep playing the 4-3-3? Or do we bring Eriksen in and go back to a 4-2-3-1? Either option is very valid. I still think we need midfield legs. I still think we're getting hit too hard, so I wouldn't mind McTominay. As strange it is for me to say play McTominay with what we have, that's the issue. That says I can already see Mount and Bruno should not be in the same team. It's not going to end well. Look, I think they can work in the same team, but I think you have to have a team kind of like Man City's, where they had Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne in midfield. Of course, it was the bigger matches they put Gundogan in, and Gundogan was always brilliant in that team. But you have to have that kind of balance. You have to have that dictator, Rodri type player. And Casemiro is a very good player, but he does not have the Rodri skill set to really make that work by himself. In my opinion, I don't think there's enough from Bruno and Mount, and I don't think there's enough from Casemiro to make that click, all things considered. Daniel says, thank good, Mount is out. Rajad says, will be a blessing in disguise. And Lucky says, Pellistri to Sheffield. Yes, that is another one. Could be going on loan. It's not a bad loan because it's Premier League, but I mean, I would like us to get a better loan, because I don't think Sheffield are going to play the style of football needed to get the best out of Facundo Pellistri, in my opinion. But look, let's get back to the main topic. First and foremost, Manchester United's new signing, Fenerbahce goalkeeper Altay Bayındır, is signing on a potential €5 million move. He has done a medical today, and they are considering whether or not to fill the signing. That's coming in from David Ornstein. Fabrizio Romano has also confirmed it's around 7, so we're in that price range. It's in and around 5 to 7 million. It's not a lot of money. I can only assume that means Henderson is going to Crystal Palace, so that's a good move there. I'm very happy to have him out. Drop a like in the video as well, guys. We're up to 12 likes. I can see what there's like 70 people in here. Would be big, massively appreciated. Jasper says, in comes McTominay. I think maybe we need it if we're gonna go. I think we need the results as much as anything. We really do. Patrick is down there. The problem is midfield. Get the deal for Verratti and Amrabat. Lucky says, quickly get money and bid for stuff in Amrabat. Rajat is also saying we'll play Casemiro, Bruno, and Eriksen pivot and get McTominay on for 30 minutes. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I think that midfield should be enough to beat Nottingham Forest. It did home and away last season. Got to do something similar now. Who else have we got? Greg is saying we definitely need to go back to 4-2-3-1. Bruno in the natural number 10. Plus Højlund coming in, the way he plays, Bruno and Rasmus will keep the ball up top. Yeah, Højlund's hold-up play, it will be a lot better. Rashford is a guy who can finish, but he's not a striker, and he doesn't have the movement. He doesn't have the hold-up or to know when to go, when to drop. He's not that guy. Abundantly clear. He just is not ever going to be a striker, in my opinion. Just doesn't have the tactical discipline, doesn't have the know-how in what to do. Put him on the wing, he's fine because he cuts inside and shoots, or he takes it on the outside, plays 1-2s and uses his pace, but he's not a striker. And that's what we're asking you guys in the poll as well. So would you guys prefer that cheap striker or Ivan Toney in January? Because that is the rumours coming out at the minute. Christian says, come on guys, we all in the chat, let's smash a like. It's only a press of button. Yeah guys, hit a like. We're up to 20. Big ups. Massively appreciated. So a bit of a split on the poll as well. So we have 60% saying you would like the cheap striker now, but 40% say wait to January, get the better one-on option. just saying, don't do Verratti. He's Casemiro 2.0. I think we need younger players. I think, yeah, Varane. I think Casemiro, brilliant players. But my concern with them is, have they come in at the wrong time? You can add experienced winners to a team that's ready to win. But I don't know if this team's ready to win the big trophies yet. So that's the question. We're looking short-term players here who will not be lasting 3 years at Manchester United. So have to pick the right battles, of course. Rajat says no Verratti. I mean, look, I think, yeah, Verratti in the sense that we need that ball controller and the ball progressor, but we need someone with athleticism. We need someone with drive and stuff. I had hoped it would be Sofian Amrabat. That had to have been the big goal, but according to Core Sport, and I will get this into the chat as well, guys, so Fiorentina are becoming frustrated with Manchester United's antics surrounding Sofian Amrabat. They know they must bid in the next 48 to 72 hours, or Amrabat may have to stay at Fiorentina. So Manchester United, this is coming down to it. Luckhurst in the Manchester Evening News did an article yesterday, and in that he added the little caveat: if United really wanted Amrabat, they would have got him by now. Is this shaping up to be one of these situations? We have to ask that question. Is this shaping up to be a Wesley Sneijder, a Gaetan, a Cesc Fabregas, a De Jong? One of these deals that goes on all summer long but never happens. Because it's really starting to look that way. It really is. Patrick says there should be good players in the midfield that would want to come. We've been busy selling midfielders. We have to fill those areas back. Absolutely. We sold Fred, and Fred played a lot of matches last season, and Fred would be what we need in midfield now. Those legs, those the aggression, the pressing, the tackling, helping to cover for Casemiro. That's what we do need. I think you can massively improve on Fred on the ball, of course, but I do think we need a replacement. Absolutely. Chano says United giving me a headache. Yes, man, every single day at this club, they're finding a new way to do it. Michael says Verratti is also injury prone, hasn't played more than 25 to 30 games a season for 10 years. And Greg says the logic is just to accept United are not ready to challenge. Maybe another 2 years and new owners being key. So it will be better to wait for Toney in January and keep adding quality. Look, without sounding like Gary Neville saying this is Manchester United, we should be in a position to challenge now, and we should. But we're not. And that's the thing. Ideally, within the next 2 to 3 seasons, we find ourselves in a position where we are one good transfer window away from being able to compete for the league at any stage. You know, we need to have a certain amount of quality in the squad, and if we need to add goals, we bring in a top striker, and all of a sudden we're back up there. You know, we shouldn't be looking at wholesale changes, having to really invest in the squad, bringing in 5, 6, 7 players, because that's just a sign of bad management and bad running of the football club. Look at Man City. Those guys only bring 2, maybe 3 players in a season, but that's all they need to sustain themselves and keep going at the top. That's what we have to do as well. He also got Wahid is saying Mount is injured. Yes, he will be out for 2 weeks. It just says, how authentic is this news from Core Sport? It's just, look, what I think we can interpret this as is probably Fiorentina going to the local press, going to the Italian press, trying to pressure Manchester United. I would read more into the Luckhurst article because he does have inside information at United, and if he's saying that it's probably not going to happen, that's maybe the reality of the situation. I'm So Fresh says, just a bit weird in midfield. Casemiro is the only proper centre midfielder we have. Mount and Bruno are attacking midfielders. Eriksen and McTominay, not good enough. I would agree with that. Sean says, here we go. And Lucky says, under pressure, you have to perform. You have to start to perform. Yeah, absolutely. Pressure, that's a big one. Rajat says he will take Ryan Gravenberch, and we do have updates on him as well. Let me fire through this, because there was quite a bit coming out, and there seems to be more movement on the Gravenberch situation than there is for Sofian Amrabat. So first and foremost, coming in from the Muppeteers, Manchester United are exploring a loan with an obligation to buy deal for Ryan Gravenberch, and Gravenberch has told his representatives in March and April he wanted to join Manchester United. So maybe Gravenberch is the way we go. I don't think he's exactly what we need, in the sense that I think we need someone to sit even deeper alongside Casemiro, but I think Gravenberch will bring that physicality. He will bring that ball carrying that he's very, very good at. He's a very good passer. Loan to buy, if that's what we're going to have to do. I think we got to do it. We got to pull the trigger on it, because buying backup goalkeepers will not be winning us matches. it's debatable whether we even get a striker at this point outside of Hoyland. So I think we got to make some sort of a move for him. Rajat says loan to buy, big deal, around 30 million is a good deal. It probably would be. Bayern would make their money back. He's not playing for them. Look, he could have played more times last season. It's not the ideal signing, but I think he's a player Ten Hag knows, a player Ten Hag trusts, and if he thinks he can get it out of him, then let's see it. Let's see what he can do. I would still prefer Amrabat, but we have to seriously question if we agreed terms in June for this guy. Where has the move been? We haven't even bid yet, and we are 9 days from the end of the transfer window. A massive 9 days. A lot of things are going to happen, and a lot of news is still to come out. Gift says Mount is injured now. What is happening to us? It's not good, man. There's a lot of injuries in this team. Look, that's Mount out, that's Hoyland's out, Ahmad, Malacia, Kobe Manu. That's 5 or 6 players out already. And another player on the way out, and who will be leaving Manchester United, will be Brandon Williams. Now, this is a player that I think we need to get out by any stretch of the imagination. However we do it, I think it's going to be the right move. I would like to sell. That has to be the goal, to sell him. But if it's going to be a loan or a loan to buy with Ipswich Town, I think that's acceptable. I really do, because, look, Brandon Williams is never getting into this team. He's 22 or 23 now. He needs to make the move. United need to move him on. It's just good business. It's just a smart thing to do. Move this guy on. It's what needs to be done. Let me see. I'm So Fresh says, as long as they're not signing average players for ridiculous prices just to fill the places, with the Fenerbache goalkeeper signed today. Yeah, look, exactly, man. It's one of these things. Manchester United love a bit of late drama, and if we can buy players over price or bang average, we tend to do so. Drop a like in the video as well, guys. We're up to 25. Can we hit 30 likes? Would be absolutely massive if we do. Would really appreciate it as well. In terms of the poll, 50 votes on that. We have 60% saying yes, we would like this cheap striker now, and that's what we would like, a cheaper, more experienced striker. 40% are saying I would rather have Toney. Yes, Chatsport, you're absolutely right as well, man. Williams is on £50,000 per week, and he's a guy who doesn't even make the squad. So I don't even know, did Brandon Williams have a single minute last season? You know, these are players we really do not need. Jarl is down there as well. Most interesting stuff today is staff at United are talking about going on strike to get the Glazers a move on. Not sure how true it is. Yeah, look, there is something on that. I don't think it's quite strike action, but I think they're certainly participating. There was photos going around of the 1950th sit-in protest, which will be on Saturday, I believe, at the Forest match, and those flyers were being put in around the till areas at the megastore, and they weren't being moved and stuff. So I don't know. I don't think they're going on strike. I would be surprised if that's the case, but I'm sure people inside are really annoyed about it. Irfan says, what is the news about a CDM? I mean, it's looking like it's going to be Gravenberch, guys. I think that's most realistic. He wants to come. I think that's interesting, and he has wanted to come seemingly from the end of the season. So March and April time, he told his representatives he would love to come. So, look, I think that's all right. Like, I'm happy enough with the signing. I do quite like the player. I think there's more natural choices, but if we get him, I'm not going to complain, because I think we need somebody. I think we need that type of player. I think Amrabat's a better player still, but if we can get Gravenberch's potential, I think that's a good one. Will says, do you think there's any chance of getting Amrabat and Gravenberch? Look, I think a serious club would, because a serious club would say McTominay is not good enough, we should have sold him. Eriksen is a squad player at best. Fred's gone, Manu's injured, we only have Mount, Bruno and Casemiro, so let's get both. I think that's what we should do, and I think that's what other clubs would do, but I doubt it. You're right as well, Chatsport man. He isn't a CDM. He's a box-to-box midfielder. He can fill in at number 10 quite well as well. You know, that is something he can bring. Gift says, where is the Mount injury coming from? Seems to have picked up a knock in the Tottenham match. I think I saw it might have been an ankle knock, but he's going to be out until the international break. So it's been a poor start to the season for Mason Mount. It has. I can't lie, guys. So yeah, look, I think Ten Hag's got questions to ask and decisions to make. I'm not a fan of the actual pressing structure at the minute. I think it's a little bit all over the place, but I think Eriksen and Casemiro, you're not getting a lot of pressing out for that there one. Laurie Whitwell says talks between Manchester United and Ipswich for Brandon Williams over a loan with the option to buy are progressing. So Brandon Williams on the way out potentially. I think Kieran McKenna might still be the Ipswich Town manager as well. So that's a former coach at Manchester United. So it's probably a good move for Williams. Irfan says Mount next. I'm so fresh says I worked at United a decade ago. It was terrible. Finished really hard shift and was told off for an hour. Can see from previous experience why they might strike. I mean, yeah, absolutely, man. Like I wouldn't blame anybody. And the way the club's run genuinely is a mess. Lucky Singh says Polistry fee crucial for Sofian Amrabat. I think it's a loan deal. I don't expect it to be a permanent signing, so I don't think that deal's going to come in. The good thing is, and I think the way financial fair play is, now correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if anybody does fully understand FFP, but because Dean Henderson would be on a loan to buy with the obligation, that would mean that money could be counted into Manchester United's accounts for this season. So if we're buying a cheap backup goalkeeper, that might give us some extra money to go out and make some other signings. Maybe that's a potential. Gift is saying as well, and we should get them both, no excuse, Amrabat and Gravenberch. Look, I think that's a smart thing to do. That would be the ambitious thing to do. If it happened at Man City, they would do it. Chelsea would buy 15 midfielders anyway, just for the sake of it. But I completely agree. We need both. We do need more than one midfielder. We needed to add a midfielder going into this summer. We brought Mount in. We sold Fred. So that leaves us pretty level fielded. We've had injuries and we need some other players in. Absolutely. Rashad says, Mount precaution doesn't look too bad. About 2 or 3 games, he'll be fine. Yes, look, it's not going to be too bad. It's a minor knock, but it's frustrating. Let's see. Buta was saying Maguire being selfish. He is. And I have a quick update on Harry Maguire as well, coming in from Fabrizio Romano. So it's not looking good, guys. If we wanted to see Harry Maguire gone, this isn't the summer for it. So Harry Maguire's complete situation has gone completely quiet. Nothing is happening with Maguire after the move to West Ham collected. So Manchester United will not be signing a new centre-back. So Maguire's not going. Ten Hag wanted Tobito, he wanted Amrabat, he wanted Kim Min-jae, he wanted Diazy. He hasn't got any of them. So this is where we find ourselves. Once again, the sell to buy is not going to work when these players are taking massive pay cuts to have to leave the club. A lot of them is going to say, I want to stay here for the money. And that's what Maguire's done. Gift says, if Mount is injured now, how can we sell McTominay now? It's a good point. I think that probably rules out a McTominay sale for the rest of the summer anyway. I think we should have took it when it was on offer. I thought £30 million was a brilliant offer from West Ham, and that's about as much as we will ever get for McTominay again. Big ups, guys, on the 30 likes. Let's see, can we hit 40? Gonna go ambitious. There's 90 people in here, so 10 people, hit that like button. Really would appreciate it. Only takes a second to do as well. Lucky is down there as well. Brandon Williams will go to Ipswich. It looks like that deal will happen. I have no complaints about it whatsoever. No complaints. I think it's a really good deal just to get him off the books. And hopefully it's with the option to buy or an obligation to buy and he moves on. Gift says, Manchester United's board are forgetting that we are playing in the Champions League again. Yeah, but part of them doesn't really care either, man. The board and the ownership care more about being in the Champions League than actually doing well in it, because that's where the money is. You know, we probably get a similar amount of money for being in the group stages, maybe get into the knockout rounds as we would do on a run to the final. You know, that's their way of looking at it. And that's why we've settled for top 4 all the time as well, because the amount of money needed to be spent to go from 4th place to 1st place is far more than what you would actually get in terms of TV revenue and stuff like that and prize money. So that's been a conscious business decision. Chatsport said, to be fair, McTominay, a good player. Don't see the hurry to sell him. Always ready to put a shift in, scores goals, and a good pro. Yeah, look, he's a hard-working player. He's not flashy. I don't think he's perfect for United. I don't think he's well-suited. But if we're going to have to play him, he will try his best, and he will do a job for us. Might not be the best one. We got Rashad says Christian Eriksen can't play that much at 31. No, absolutely. Anthony will probably not be leaving. No, I would be stunned if Anthony left. I really would. I'm so fresh said I saw the owners were being forced out earlier. Let's hope. I mean, If anything can happen to push that across the line, man, I really hope it does, because we need it as a football club, as a fan base. So important. Look, I mean, people laugh at Todd Bowley, but this man's come into Chelsea and had the ambition to spend £1 billion in 12 months. Arsenal's ownership and Arsenal's directors have said we will let Arteta clear whoever he wants out, bring whoever he wants in, and that's what we kind of do need. There's still infighting at United, and we still sense a lot of backroom politics and stuff still going on about. Got Kamak saying, what do you think about Altay Bayındır? I think he's an okay goalkeeper. He's coming in as a backup. He will not be playing over Andre Onana, but at the price, it's not too bad. I think he's a good age. He seems to be pretty good, I guess, but time will find out. It's one of those things, it's like, it's very hard to flop as a backup goalkeeper. He probably doesn't play a lot of matches, so he's not going to have a lot of game time. It's up to him if he's happy with that as well. Rajat says, like Anthony, I hope it finally does work out. Yeah, man, look, we spent a lot of money on the guy, and it will save us a lot of money and a lot of time replacing players if it does work out. Hey, also, we got in the comments, Lucky is saying they have no interest, the Glazers. No, they don't. It's only about the money. We have Prita as well is saying, but what's wrong with Manchester United staff? They chased away Mason Greenwood, and now they're talking about Ivan Toney, who's banned. Do they really think, or are they corpses? I mean, I think it's different things between the Greenwood situation and the Toney situation, but look, it's still a controversial move if that's what we choose to go for. I don't know, guys. Like, I would be surprised if Brentford let Toney go, because depending on how their season goes, they might be fighting relegation, or they might be going for European places. I don't know if they're going to let their best player go in January, but United are interested. That is confirmed as well, coming in from Brentford sources and also some of the online sources for United. I believe Sam from the United Stand was one saying United were definitely having a look at the player. Comments are flying in here as well, guys, so big ups, get your thoughts in, get voting on the poll, drop a like on the video, and if you guys are new, please consider hitting that sub button for all your Manchester United news, views, transfer news, and of course watch alongs as well. So let me have another check as well. Rajat says said Højlund will feature from the bench, hopefully. That will be a big bonus, massive bonus indeed, man. Robert says, how can a second goalkeeper improve midfield? No, that's true, man. He can't, and it's not us. We won't be fixing the issues with Altay Bayındır. He's not going to make us win matches. We can't play two goalkeepers. Although maybe we'd be safer putting Bayındır in net and putting Onana into midfield. I mean, maybe that's what Erik ten Hag's thinking about doing. I mean, I don't know, Onana's probably good enough on the ball to do it. Sinkin says, what a shambles of a club we have become. It's really sad to see. We've become the laughing stock, constantly being bashed in the media. Yeah, look, we're an easy target, but we make it easy on ourselves. Make no mistake about it, guys. Hey, also, we got in the comments, Gift says we will struggle this season. I hope not. I fear you might be right, but I really hope you're wrong. I really do. And I'm sure you hope that as well. That's got to be something. He also got, Lucky says, until the ownership changes, say goodbye. Jim is saying as well, what do you think of playing the same team twice? Not a fan. I would have made some other changes. I would have made some substitutions. It wasn't working. I think Sancho was really good when he came on against Wolves. I would have given him a start against Tottenham Hotspur. He scored there last season. He does well against Spurs as a team, and I think he's a good player. And we could have put Rashford on the left and Sancho false nine, and maybe it would have worked. Sinkin, it's alright, man. Good to see you. It's good to be back. Thanks very much, man. Kamak is saying as well, mate, I'm from Turkey and I know Altay Bayındır. I just say good luck. I hope that's not sarcasm, man. I hope it isn't, but I'm sensing it is. Thankfully, I guess Onana's going to be number one. Like, we did pay 45 million for the guy. Irfan says, Ivan Toney is a big Liverpool fan. He might be, but look, people are different fans. It's always good to be a United fan and play for United, but it's not always the case. Like, Rooney was a massive Everton fan, always an Evertonian, and he's our top goal scorer of all time. So the club you support as a child, I guess it doesn't matter too much in that sense. Got to be professional. Rajat, you are right, though. He does like Arsenal as well. Lucky says the club is looking to sell now, as far as I know. Toxicity is as high as ever. I mean, it might be toxic within the club. It won't be toxic for the Glazers. They're sitting in their mansions in Florida, not having to worry too much about it. And finally, Michael is saying if Martial goes, we will have lost Ronaldo, Greenwood, Martial, and Weghorst since Christmas, and signs just one. We would need one cheap and go for another in Jan. I think that's a good point. I do think that is a good point, and I wouldn't really even count Anthony Martial as a first-team player because he played against Spurs. There is every possibility that he got injured in that 10 minutes off the bench, and he will be injured against Nottingham Forest. There is every chance in the world that that has happened, and we just don't know about it yet. Lucky says, I heard the staff will leave. There's definitely going to be discontentments within the fan base, within the workers, of course, as well. You know, it's one thing supporting the Glazer family, supporting United and being against the Glazer family. It's got to be another thing working against a man. Like, I don't think those guys be getting many pay grades, many pay raises or bonuses and stuff. Rosat says, no more talk about United challenging for the league this year. It's always about United getting the place in top four. That's where we're kind of going for, man. Ashid says, good evening, guys. Andy says, bad decision. And Gift says, Gakpo is a United fan but plays for Liverpool. Yeah, look, that's just the way it is. And not too much really we can do about it. Harry Kane grew up an Arsenal fan. Jimmy Carragher grew up an Everton fan. So it's not too relevant, thankfully. We have an update coming in as well from Manchester Evening News on Facundo Pellistri, and this is just to clarify if anybody was confused. We're not selling Pellistri, but we will be loaning him potentially. So this is coming in. Manchester United are in talks with Sheffield United over a potential loan deal for Facundo Pellistri. I think he was bright against Tottenham. I was very impressed with him in pre-season. Very impressed when I saw him in Dublin as well. Really direct, really eye-catching. I think maybe there's a little bit of a lack of end product, but I think he's definitely a talented young player. If he's not going to play, and if he's always going to be seen as the third choice to Anthony and Sancho, and maybe Amad Diallo is ahead of him as well, I think it's perfectly fine to loan him out. I do. I think it's all right to loan him out. Gift says even Saudi Arabia are slow to get players like Martial from us. They don't want him, man. Sinkin says as well. Sorry. What I don't get is we know how Ten Hag wants to play, and last season he abandoned the style of play because of De Gea. Now we're trying to play his way, but it is not straightforward because of players' ability. I think, yeah. Look, one thing I will say, and I might be wrong on this, guys, but watching those first two matches, I cannot comfortably tell you guys that I think these players are fit. I just can't. Like, they look like they've played 3 matches a week for an entire year, but they've just come off pre-season. So that's the issue as well. Sinkin says, why is this fan base like Ten Hag out and all that? Nah, man, like, people will always want a shiny new toy. Think back to last May, and we brought Erik Ten Hag in. People were crying, demanding Erik Ten Hag because we didn't want Pochettino. And we brought Ten Hag in. People complained about him all season, and he did very well for us. Now they're saying bring in De Zerbi. And if we brought in De Zerbi, joke would happen. Within 12 months, they would be complaining, looking Julian Nagelsmann, or looking to bring in somebody else. I know, Xabi Alonso, or whatever. You know, people always want a shiny new toy. People always want to see something new, and change isn't always the answer. Sometimes you gotta stick with what you got. And look, first season under Pep wasn't great for City, finished 4th. To look at Arsenal, 2 8th place finishes, a 5th place finish, and then they went and really kicked it up a gear. I think it's as much the backing and stuff, because we've had some really good managers over the last 10 years. Ten Hag, Ollie as well, I guess. We got Jose Mourinho, won everything in football. Louis van Gaal, as experienced as they come. And none of them could get it right. And the one common consensus you have to have is the guys above them making the calls. That's got to be the thing. Nazir says, Solskjaer was a Liverpool fan but won us the treble. Rajat says, because Saudi Arabia don't want Martial because he cannot keep healthy. Absolutely. Jasport says Ten Hag was maybe thinking the Glazers were leaving and now that's over. His plans are not here. I don't know, I doubt it, man. Andrew says, hello, good people. Good to see you, man. Gift says, bad idea if we want to get the best out of Anthony. We shouldn't loan Pellistri. Maniac says as well, we're not going for Toney. It's just PR spin after the Greenwood news. Glazers won't sign anyone in January. FFP, yeah, look, that's potential. I think Toney's a potential signing, and I think it could happen in January. But I think we need a new owner to do it. I think if it's Radcliffe or if it's Sheikh Jassim, if the takeover ever happens, I think that's probably the only opportunity we have to bring in someone like Ivan Toney in January, which would make a massive difference. If we're in around top 4 by the end of January and we bring Toney in, that might be the difference in struggling for top 4 and easily finishing top 4 and winning a trophy and maybe going on a Champions League run or something like that. That could be the difference. Gan is down there. Why on earth is Ten Hag not looking at Gift Orban? Absolute gem and cheap that could improve any side. Yeah, look, I have a funny feeling that he might be going to Tottenham as the Harry Kane replacement. I think they might go Gift Orban. They might try to go for Evan Ferguson. That's what I think they're going to do. I would love Gift Orban. I think he's a brilliant player. Scored so many goals in so little matches since he's come here. But I do think what I would say is we have one young striker in Hoyland. Maybe he's looking at a different profile. Someone maybe a little bit older. But I wouldn't mind too. I really wouldn't mind both players. No man, no new centre backs until Maguire leaves as well. Gift says number 11 looks good on Anthony. It might go to Garnacho. I feel like he was promised number 7 before Mount came in, so maybe he goes and takes 11. Andrew says Maguire still at Old Trafford and his transfer is on ice. I say United need to pull in different directions now. We need to be United, absolutely. Rajat says Ten Hag can win us the Premier Leagues and potential Champions League, but wait for that, give him backing. I think we got the right guy. I think how much he gets back from the fans, from the ownership to make the changes, that's going to be a big one. That's going to be a massive one. And look, when we see not letting Maguire go or not pushing Maguire out the door because it will take a while to bring a replacement in, that's not what an ambitious club does. Man City got rid of Emerick Laporte, one of the best centre-backs in the league over the last couple of seasons. Still a very, very good player. And they brought in Gvardiol. We can't even replace Maguire with Benjamin Pavard. You know, there's levels to this game, and United's falling very, very short of those levels. Drop a like on the video as well, guys. We're up to 45. Can we hit 50? Would be massive. And Stephanie's down there as well. Stephanie sent 45 likes and 46. Let's see as well. Gift says Ten Hag is the best because he'll make mistakes sometimes. Doesn't mean he's not a good manager. No, look, every manager makes mistakes. Like, every manager does. Even over the last couple of seasons, Guardiola's made mistakes at City. He's lost matches he shouldn't. He didn't beat teams he shouldn't. They've got smashed enough times by Liverpool. So every manager will make mistakes, but it's about getting more right than you get wrong as well. Ashid says Tottenham needs a defender. They probably do. Brand says, who cares what age you are when you're banging in goals for fun? Yeah, look, that's another brilliant point. But it's about how do we transfer goals from the Belgian Pro League into the Premier League. It's not the easiest transition, as we know. So maybe we do go for someone more experienced. I don't think it's a bad idea. If Hoyland's going to be the long-term guy, then bring somebody in, maybe 28, 29, 30. Have them for a couple of seasons until he really starts to grow into his prime, and then we move them on as well. That's what I think they're going to do. Nazir as well says, Garnacho should have been giving the number 7. Would have been a nice one. I'm so fresh. Weird window for signings. People seem to be getting targets early, and the hype is quiet towards the end. Yeah, it's something I've noticed a lot, man. Like, it's really a lot of drawn-out transfer sagas this year. One thing I will say, and I will say this about the Ivan Toney situation, is there's no money buying from the Premier League. There's no value at all, man. Daniel in with a super chat. Give a shout out to Rigsby the Beagle. Don't really know what that is, man. Another maniac says, stick with Ten Hag, just needs time and some owners. Yeah, I think it's the guys ahead of him. I think it's the guys in charge of him. Andrew says, Lucky Singh, not going to buy. Support the coaching staff. Again, I think it comes down to the lack of structure as well. If United had a genuine director of football who knew what he was doing, I think that would make a massive difference. Somebody with a top scouting network, and we could pick up some real gems, young players, pick up some players who are about to burst and be something special. Because what our business model has been for too long has been waiting for these players to go to Benfica or Borussia Dortmund or like a Brighton or any other club like that, an Ajax, and then we paid double the money for them a season later. So that's what we got to avoid. Rajat says we can find 50 excuses for not doing something. How about 1 or 2 reasons to do so? Absolutely, man. I would love more doing and less excuses, more doing and less complaining. I really would. And I still think there's a long way to go. Gift says, well, if we want to get back to where we are, Glazers need to go out, problem solved. Daniel says, thanks, Goat. Snapper Pat said, I worry about the Brighton game. We could be schooled if we don't get the midfield sorted. Absolutely, man. Lucky says, well, look at Liverpool right now. Yeah, look, it's still not been great from Liverpool as well this season. Sinkin says, the reason we should aim for Champions League qualification, defend league title and go for FA Cup, and we need to get rid of Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Martial, McTominay, and then we go for the EPL. Yeah, look, that's what I think we got to do. Level the squad up. We got to really, really improve. Bring up the floor-raising signings. That's the most important thing. When the worst player in your squad becomes better, and that level is better, that means your whole squad's going to be better. Who else we got down here? Rajat says, Ten Hag says Qatar is going to cook. I mean, look, with that budget and that funding, it absolutely would. Stephanie says, I'm still in the minority with a poll question, but it's close. Toney is not a gamble, but a safe bet. Sign him now for January and give our season a big boost. Yeah, look, he comes in at a key time, and some much needed goals will be a big thing. One thing I'm not sure, and I asked you guys at the start of the show, did anybody find out, or did anybody know, is Toney allowed to train? Is he back in first team training with Brentford, or is it a suspension from all football activities? Because if it's only going to be from playing matches, then it could be a lot easier to bring him in. He should be fit. Might need the match sharpness, which would take a couple of weeks, but I guess that's a lot better than if he hasn't trained for 6 months. Andrew says, Toney's a crook and we're going to regret it. I'm telling you guys, once a gambler, always a gambler. He didn't score in a vital game. Who's at fault? Toney doesn't sell a game. I think he's a good player, man. And I think scored 20 goals last year for Brentford's a big one. And if you can score 20 for Brentford, you would score 30 for United. Luman's down there as well. Good to see him, man. Hope all is good. Just picking up the poll as well, guys. 54% said it's cheap striker. And 46 are saying, go for Toney in January. Go for the guaranteed goals. Another Maniac says, from next month. Oh, is that in regards of training? If so, that's not too bad. That's really not too bad. And that will be a good few months training for Toney. If that's true, I guess that makes the deal look more appealing. Certainly to me, anyway. Let me see. Is anything else dropping? Looks to be something coming up and coming out. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure shoot them into the comments. Get those thoughts in. He's totally banned from any football activities. Thank you for that one. Sinkin says, I like Toney. I wouldn't say no in January. It's not a bad move, so long as it doesn't happen again. If we sign him and then he gets banned again, then we're gonna look like we've got egg on our face. We really, really will. Lucky's down there. Andrew as well. Let me check what we got. Mark Jurado looks set to leave Manchester United this summer. The 19-year-old is said to be unhappy with United with a lack of first-team opportunities, and several Spanish clubs are interested. He's not a bad player. We brought him in from Barcelona. He might go back to Spain. Big ups to everyone as well. Luman says, I have lost over 50,000 US dollars in betting so far. Is that true, man? If so, I don't know, man. I don't really know how to respond to that. I mean, I guess it's not great. Another Maniac's in there as well. Stephanie's down there. Lucky's down there. Good to see everyone back in the chat, and hope everyone's doing good today as well. For anyone who did miss the top story of the show, Manchester United very, very close to signing Altay Bayındır from Fenerbache, backup goalkeeper, fee around 6 million. Medical done today. It's going to be a done deal at some point. Rajat says he will go back to Brentford. Looks like it. I think he will, man. I think it's most likely. I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad option. I like the player, but I think there's a lot of baggage going there, and I'm sure United don't want that again. He also got down here. Rajat says would take Ollie Watkins. Yeah, he's a good player, man. He is a good player. I absolutely would take a bit of Ollie Watkins. Whether or not he's the right choice, I don't know. An uptick coming in from the Muppeteers as well. So Manchester United and Erik ten Hag are really pushing for a new attacker before the end of the transfer window. He was told all summer he would have Mason Greenwood back by August, so he expects the club now to bring someone else in. Let's hope he does, because we do need some goals, and maybe that stems to the cheaper signing now. Brian says, big statement to Toney scored 20 for Brentford last year, could score 30 at United, considering they put 4 passes last season. Yeah, man, look, absolutely. It's one of those things, but in terms of chance creation, there's no comparison, absolutely none. I got a feeling that addiction charities will come onto the block or demand the transfer fee to be donated to addiction charities. Laporte is a good Al Nassr signing. Yeah, he is, man. Liman says, I once predicted 7 correct halftime draws, but didn't bet, and guess what? All 7 were sitting draws at halftime. Oh man, it's always the ones you don't do. It's always the ones. Rajat says, no, we need to talk about Man United. Yeah, guys, get your United thoughts in. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Get them in down below as well. And we're up to 47 likes. Can we hit 50? Only need 3 people. Smash that like button. Would be massively, massively appreciated. Sinkin lost £800 over the weekend because of Chelsea. They sold me a dream last week. Yeah, man. Look, I had Chelsea down on my own. Cost me like, it was the one that messed it up on the Aka, so not great. Like, there's always one of them. Lucky says we're getting linked to lots of players now. I think, yeah, that's United trying to scramble to get more players in, but it's also going to be Manchester United scrambling and being desperate, and really a lot of the players looking to go between now and the end of the window will want to link themselves to Manchester United in the hope that it works, in the hope that it spurs whoever they're negotiating with. Because look, United are clickbait as well. Stephanie says my only addiction is United can't seem to kick the habit. Yeah, look, would save a lot of headaches for ourselves if we could, but we're kind of hooked to the club now, and we just want the best for it. You guys know what it's like as well. Big ups as well. We have 1940 subscribers. That's amazing, guys. So close to 2K as well. So if you guys haven't subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Let's see if we can get to 2K. Update us about Mason Mount injury news. Yep, looks like, I think it's an ankle injury. He's going to be out for about 2 weeks. Going to miss the next 2 matches against Nottingham Forest and Arsenal. And he will be back after the international break in September. So it's not a massive injury. It's coming at a bad time for him. He kind of needs to play his way back into form. So questions for Erik ten Hag, issues to solve. Tinkin says we only need Amrabat and Gravenberch, and a keeper will be okay for the season. Look, I think 2 midfielders is very, very important to United. But if you guys had to pick between a midfielder and a striker, or 2 midfielders, what would you guys go for? Let me know down below. I think we might need a midfielder and a striker. I think that's what we might have to do. The man says who's under more pressure, but with better players, Ten Hag or Poch? Probably Pochettino. The Chelsea demands are completely different. Ten Hag hasn't had £1 billion spent on the squad over the last 12 months. Pochettino spent a ridiculous amount of money this window already, so that's going to be an interesting one. Rosat says bid 20 million for Leonardo. Yeah, look, again, another good player. Not a bad option for United, but I don't know, like, we're seeing the demand and the wish to bring in a striker or an attacking player, but I haven't really seen too many linked. Outside of Ivan Toney, who's been talked about for a January move, haven't really seen too many say, yeah, United want João Felix, or United want Taremi, or United want Gift Orban, or United would go in and consider a move for Jonathan David, or anyone like that. I'm not seeing a lot of reports. We're getting a lot of talk about Amrabat, a lot of talk about Gravenberch, but we're not seeing too much in terms of attackers. And I think if Erik ten Hag's demanding an attacker, I don't know where it's coming from. Kamini says I choose Glazers out. Absolutely. Stephanie says Mount injury might help Ten Hag out. I think it makes an easy decision, and that would be to drop him. Now we can take him out of the team and not have to deal with the fallout of that. As well, I'm so fresh says someone to fight for the extra space in midfield, take the stress off Casemiro. Al Nassr came back to win 3-2. Lucky says 1.3 billion Chelsea have spent, and Luman says who's the better things to turn around. I think it's maybe going to be easier for Pochettino to turn things around because they'll just buy more players. That's kind of it. But whether they buy the players before they choose to sack him, that's the other question. If you're asking me about Ten Hag, I think he will get time at Manchester United, and I think he will have a longer period of time to turn it around. Rajat says Gravenberch quickly. Gift says how about Amrabat? Any updates? Not really too much outside of Lockhurst saying if United really wanted him, they would have bought him by now. And the Italian sources saying United need to bid within the next 2 to 3 days. Otherwise, Fiorentina is going to take any deal off the table. That's about it. Stephanie wants to see Hannibal play alongside Casemiro. Not a bad suggestion. Was very good on pre-season, and I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of Hannibal in that team. Sinkin says the way it's going, I'm not sure if we're going to sign anyone. Yeah, man, look, I'm getting that kind of feeling as well myself. It's like, if you guys remember back to Ollie's last summer transfer window. We brought in Varane, we brought in Sancho and Ronaldo, and everybody in the world knew we needed a defensive midfielder, and we didn't buy one. And we were told, yes, we're going to buy one over and over and over again, but it never happened. That's got to be a concern. Lucky says Chelsea's net spend's high. Yeah, it is, man. There is no real plan, I guess, in that sense. Luman says, on to 10 Hag signing, and so he is answerable. Of course he is. He's answerable to all of them. 50 likes in the video as well, guys. Massive thank you for that. So Fresh says, great stream and chat. Absolutely, man. Always is pleasure to be on with you guys. Kamini says, Mount attacks more, leaving Casemiro exposed. Not forgetting Casemiro not quick enough. Yeah, I do agree with that. Another Minex says we played better with Fred and Weghorst in the team. I think, yeah, maybe with the pressing of Fred and stuff and the more defensive stuff, maybe more balance because we're trying to be less ambitious in how we played. But I think there's a long way back, and I think there's a long way to go this season. And I think United will get better. I think that's a big positive, is we know how much better this team can be. So that's what I think's the thing here. If this was our limit, I would be concerned. But United starting at the bottom here, we're in first gear, so there's a lot of gears we can go through before we hit max speed with this team. Let me see, Rajat is down there. Hannibal Cam, not a bad idea. I mean, I guess you can't be playing like a 4-3-3 even with Bruno and Hannibal. I think he might go McTominay. I do. I think he might just want to shore things up, see how a more physical option in there looks, and that might influence the rest of the decision making for the summer transfer window. But we're going to find out. We should find out very soon on that one. Lucky says Arsenal spent 542 million. Not this window, but over the last couple of windows, I'm sure they have. Fred scored in his debut for Fenerbahce. Ronnie says, do you think we'll have another striker in? I hope so, Ronnie. I really hope we bring in another striker. I say a midfielder and a striker. That's got to be the priorities. That has to be what United look for. Hey, also, we got down in the comments, Sinkin says, we'll balance midfield. That's what we need. Liman says, one of our defence plays high line like Liverpool. Now we also have a sweeper goalkeeper. This would help the midfield players. Yeah, look, that has to happen as well. I think what we're seeing is, it's like when you watch Liverpool, there's a lot of swarming around, and the players do come back and they do drop back. There isn't a massive space between the number 6 and the 2 number 8s, and I think the gap between Casemiro, Bruno and Mount, it's just too big at the moment. It needs work done. Hey, also I mentioned Weghorst because I think we'll see a huge difference when Højlund plays. Yeah, Højlund's gonna be brilliant. I can't wait for him. Andrew says 4-3-3 not working out without an out-and-out striker. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think we might see Højlund at the weekend, maybe off the bench, and if he comes on and it clicks, that might have been part of the issue all along. Højlund's going to press a lot, and that's something we didn't get from Rashford. Rashford in the middle, no pressing at all. Didn't work hard enough, in my opinion. Does Maguire have brains? The guy, here's a chance for him to revive his career at West Ham or even at Everton. He should too. He absolutely should too. Stephanie says if he plays McTominay versus Forest, probably means he's staying and not risking injury for selling. Yeah, I would agree with that, Stephanie. I don't think he's going to sell him, and that's simply because of this Mount injury now. I think we're not going to leave ourselves to that short in midfield. Kanini as well is saying, do you guys think once we get Amrabat, he will bench Casemiro? We'll probably play both, I think. Stinkin says, got to go 4-4-2 to stop the midfield being overrun. Maybe a 4-2-3-1 as well. Something like that might be the option. Might be the way to go. Certainly, there's a lot of tactical decisions to be made. It's going to take a while for Ten Hag to get it right. The man says, is Rashford always crazy used to track back, or is the new contract big wages? No, I don't think it's that, because he's only had 2 matches with the big contract. Because even last year, the pressing wasn't brilliant. I think it's the way he manages his game, and I would like him to work harder. I really would. I don't think you can get away with it when you're the striker, because the striker's meant to be the guy that leads the press. If you're the furthest up the pitch and the other centre-backs have it, you gotta be the guy that started all off. Steady playing 4-2-3-1, we can play that, or 4-4-2 and maximise midfield. Old school, as we say, pack out the midfield. Yeah, I mean, look, I've even seen suggestions of a diamond maybe working with Casemiro at the bottom, and then bringing in Gravenberch on the left, Mount on the right, Bruno at 10, Rashford left striker, Højlund right striker. Maybe that's what we do. I don't know. There's a lot of things Ten Hag can do, a lot of things maybe he needs to consider, and I think we're going to find out across the season. I really do. Højlund could be second half sub against Forest. Would be a good idea. before full debut. Yeah, look, full debut, 3rd of September, my birthday against Arsenal at the Emirates. So if Rasmus Højlund's watching, please bag a hat trick or something. Would really appreciate it. As well, Rajat says, me to be honest, Rashford doesn't try hard enough. Yeah, I would like to see some more pressing out of him. I know he can do it. Needs to do it more often. Ronald says since Greenwood is now out, it's time for Mad Diallo to be with the first team. I would agree with that statement. Obviously the injury's the problem there, but once he's back and fit again, yeah, absolutely, I would bring Ahmad into the first team. And finally, Lucky Singh says Brandon Williams will purse the transfer to Ipswich. I hope so. Play Tolo at left back and Wan-Bissaka at right back, maybe. I mean, yeah, I haven't been impressed with Shaw's start to the season. I think there's a lot of things to go through with that. 4-4-2 is United DNA. Ten Hag needs to revert back to it. Ten Hag's 3-5-2, 3-1-6 isn't working out, and it won't. I think it can and will in time. Fergie played a lot of 4-3-3, especially towards the end of his career. United played the 4-3-3 with Ronaldo and Tevez and Rooney, and that was brilliant. So, yeah, 4-4-2 was always the way, but I think football has moved on. I don't think Rajat's a bad idea. 4-5-1 would really pack out the midfield. Will I do a double celebrate on? Yeah, absolutely. We're having a double celebration, man. Make no mistake about it. Be a massive one. My birthday and a United win. Maybe we'll get a Højlund goal as well. That could be a nice birthday present for sure. Okay, guys. With that in mind, I'm gonna drop off here. So I will see everyone same time tomorrow, 7:30. And hope all of you guys have a good Wednesday. Hope there's some more United news to react to. Big ups. Thanks for 52 likes, guys. And I will see you all tomorrow.